Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Your Friday's off to a great start. Welcome to the second installment of Betco's EnviroZyme probiotic training. Betco is the only chemical manufacturer to ferment our own beneficial bacteria to produce targeted probiotic cleaning solutions. We carefully select strains based on their efficacy against specific soils. Our proprietary nutrient packages boost probiotic growth for better results faster, and are proven to continue working for 21 days post-application. Unlike other manufacturers who purchase generalized bacteria strains and use them in every product, we are able to highly specialize our solutions for superior performance. In other words, we grow it, so we know it. Right, Barry?
Absolutely.
All right. My name is Jeff Iverson, and I'm in charge of sales operations and training here at Betco. And today we're fortunate enough to have Barry Rosenthal with us to demystify our topic of the day, probiotics, focusing on kitchens and food service. Barry has been with Betco for over 25 years, has held many positions as currently our senior product manager for General Chemicals, which includes probiotics. Welcome, Barry. As we run through the presentation today, please click on the Q&A button and enter in your question. And we'll pause periodically, or at the end, we will answer all the questions, or as many as we have time for. So we'll answer all the questions if we have time. So speaking of questions, let's start with a question. I'm going to launch a question here. Please answer the question. All right, as we're concluding this, it might be kind of a trick question because it says, what are Betco probiotics? Not what are probiotics, but what are Betco probiotics? So Barry, I'll turn this over to you.
Yeah, so since we've had this program launched a couple of months and we had a previous webinar, I was curious to see what everybody thought. And most of you, 85% of you got it right. It was enzyme producing bacteria. True that probiotics are often vitamin supplements, but in this case, we're talking about Betco probiotics. And the big point is that they are enzyme producing bacteria. So they're not straight enzymes, they're not straight bacteria. And as we go through this presentation, you guys will understand the importance of why the importance of the enzyme producing bacteria and the differences between the straight bacteria or straight enzymes. Okay, so moving on, we are going to talk about probiotic solutions in food service. Our agenda is going to be how probiotic solutions work, fogs and their impact on food service operations, and then we're going to do a deep dive onto applications, where you can use each product, why you should use each product, and have a good discussion about the different products in the kitchen and the food service areas. All right, before we get started, the presentation, just want to show you a quick video. And if you've seen this again, it's a good refresher, but this will explain exactly how probiotics work and build for our discussion moving forward.
Enzymes break down complex waste particles into smaller pieces to prepare them for bacteria to digest. In biological remediation, non-pathogenic bacteria are chosen based on the types of enzymes they produce and are purposefully introduced in a given location in order to remove specific harmful waste and continue working until there is no more waste. Okay, so quick video. Basically, what that shows is how the bacteria work. So the bacteria, as they're shipped out, are in a dormant enzymes break down complex waste particles into smaller pieces.
When they see the food source, they activate and break down, and they continue to break down that food source until nothing is left. So a really important process in the fact that there's no waste, and there's the continual cleaning aspect, which will become important as we talk about specifics for kitchens. Okay, the next thing I wanted to cover, the next question is, we have another question here. The question is, what is a fatberg? We've got three choices here.
Hamburger? That's probably right. What do you think? Yeah. A city in Alaska? I don't know. A huge collection of waste that is gathered downstream. Good question.
And you guys are nailing it. Give it a couple more responses. All right, awesome. We got 100% correct. Yeah, it's a huge collection of waste that's gathered downstream. So that picture that's shown in the slide, that is a fatberg. That is actually that's in the Maryland sewer system, I think a few years ago. So you can, this is obviously extreme condition, but this is where just waste has been left to go down the waste stream untreated, and just a big collection of mainly fat, but a whole bunch of other things as well that has gone down the waste stream. So this is just an illustration on the potential problems that we can have if we don't properly treat our wastes. So when we say fogs, we're talking fats, oils, and greases. You can see those little three guys that are in the little icon on the right. They become a real problem because they can cause clogs and backups mainly, but they also release malodors. So they cause the kitchens to smell real bad, and they can potentially create slippery floors, which can be very dangerous. So the environment that these fogs are in are the perfect environment for probiotics. It's a high moisture environment. It's a controlled environment, and they can really they continue to produce and produce bacteria to digest these fogs. Okay, so the first application that we're going to talk about is drains. Obviously, in drains, when we have especially large restaurant kitchens, we have a lot of grease going down the drain, and eventually, if untreated, they can lead to clogged drains. It can lead to malodors. It can even lead to buildup of fruit flies, which the fruit flies are attracted to the organic material from the fats and the materials going down the drain. And it can be a very expensive proposition. It can cost up to $800 to unclog. If you do damage to the pipes, then we're talking thousands, sometimes $10,000. So there is a significant cost to leaving drains untreated. And so we have a couple of products that we have: the drain and trap treatment and the grease trap and drain cleaner pucks. And this is just a quick illustration on the right. You can see we basically created our own drain. We clogged it up with grease, and every day we treated with the drain and trap treatment. You can see after 7 days we broke through that fat. But that's a lab test, and we have an even better real field testimonial that we have featured on our website, and I'm going to talk about right here. So we had a large supermarket chain that came to us and had constant challenges with clogged drains. You can see the number of issues that they've had, and they contacted us about, I think it was in late 2019. They explained to us they were having these incidents with their drains, and so we set them up with the drain and trap treatment program. We pumped it into the chicken fryer area, the deli, and the butcher shop. And now they came to us in 2022 and showed they had one incident. So it was a 95% reduction, saving an average of $6,000 per year. So this is some of so across all 200 stores, it's a potential savings of $1.2 million. So this is some of the examples of the problems that clogged drains can cause if left untreated, and the solutions that you can bring to your customers or that you can bring to your restaurant that can help save both money, time, and overall appearance and odor within the facility. Okay, so what is a grease trap? We've heard the term drain and trap. What specifically is a grease trap? And a grease trap is simply just a device to collect the food wastes. It is required for all restaurants or any type of food service operation that is going to be discharging grease potentially downstream to the municipal waste stream to have a grease trap. And it collects the wastes, and then there is a process by gravity of separating the fats, the majority of fats from that liquid waste, so it can go downstream. However, there is depending on the amount of grease going out, eventually that grease trap is going to have to be pumped out. And that can range anywhere from $200 to $600. If excess fats, oils, and greases are present, the government can impose additional exceedance service charges. So it can be a costly endeavor to have to deal with the grease trap. And so what we can do here with our with both the liquid and the solid products is we can remove, make it so the pump outs can be extended. So instead of pumping out 12 times, once a month, we can reduce that to every 2 months, and that can have a significant savings. And so we have a tool that I'm just going to show you real quick, and this is right on our website, and it is our savings calculator. And this is going to show the, as it pops up here, very easy calculator. All you really have to know is the number of grease traps that you have, the number of pump outs on a yearly basis that you're going to do, and the cost per pump out. And then everything else will be populated. And on the bottom, it'll show your annual savings. So I encourage you to kind of play around with that, look at that, and see all the savings that you can that you can get. All right, so what can you put in a grease trap? What to treat it? There's several different products that have been used in the past. I've seen people use alkaline products, acidic products, bleach, solvents, kind of you name it, to try to take care of that. Because really, it's grease that we're trying to dissolve and allow it to go downstream. The problem is with chemical treatments, they tend to break up the grease into a thin layer so it can go down into the stream. But the problem is when they reach the waste stream, or the collection area, the water collection area, the sewer collection area, the grease tends to re-solidify. And because of this, most cities are not going to allow chemical treatments. The other method is straight enzymes, and as enzymes are catalysts, they'll do a pretty good job at breaking down the grease, but they don't provide any kind of continual benefit. The only thing really that works and is effective and is usually allowed, again, depends on your local municipality, but is the probiotic treatments. And the reason is again, these are bacteria that produce enzymes that will break down that fats, oils, and greases and break it down permanently. So when that liquid goes down into the waste stream, it is not going to re-solidify. It's going to break it down. It's going to eat it as a food source. It needs the fats, oils, and greases to survive. And because of that, it is really the most effective thing to add to those drain and traps. So you're going to find some municipalities that are going to say, I don't want you to touch my grease trap. They're only going to allow it to be pumped out. But in most cases, they allow the bacterial treatments, which the probiotics with the enzyme producing bacteria are. So that's just something to be aware of when we talk about grease traps. Okay, we have another poll before we move on. So, slip and falls in the workplace account for what percentage of lost days? We have choices of 10, 30, 50, or 65%. All right, so we had 82% of people. Oh, there we go. We have 84% people participate. 30% of you said 58%. 4% said 10, 12, 50%, and 26% said 65%. And you 26% are correct. So, so when we talk about slippery floors, it can be a real bad hazard and can end up in work days, and you can end up in the hospital. So, so a really major concern. Obviously, in the kitchen environment, we have we can lead to a lot of slippery floors just because of the grease that remains on those floors. So if you ever, kind of walked in there and they don't, and a lot of times these kitchens don't have opportunities to clean their floors properly, It can really be sticky. It can really lead to a hazardous condition. Other than that, it can lead to real bad malodors in those grout lines, dirty grout lines, and become a real problem. So because of that, we have a specific product for these kitchen environments, and that's our no rinse floor cleaner. So this uses the probiotic bacteria as well. And it's optimized so it doesn't streak on the floor, and can reside in those grout lines to produce that continuous cleaning. So the buildup of fogs, again, as we mentioned, leads to those slippery floors and malodors. How are you going to apply this is you're going to put it down with a mop, or you could spray it on, I guess, and you're going to apply it to the floor, usually at the end of a shift, and the excess you're just going to mop down, you're just going to put right down the floor drain. And so what that does is the stuff that goes down the drain, it's going to treat that drain in the kitchen, and the kitchen floors are going to be properly cleaned. And what's going to be left behind is the bacteria and the grout lines. So it'll continue to eat up those fats, oils, and greases. And my suggestion would be to do this for a couple of weeks or a month, and you're not going to get that instant result because it's going to take a little while for that bacteria to break it down. But after that period, that trial period, you are going to see much cleaner, whiter, if you have white grout lines, or brighter grout lines and tile in that kitchen. It really does a nice job. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is beverage tower trays. So basically, this is an area where the okay, here we go. Yep, sorry about that. So this is the beverage tower trays. And this is an area where the soda machines, where they collect the runoff from the soda machines. And what happens in here is, because all of our sodas have a whole bunch of sugar in it, they create what they call sugar snakes. And they're very difficult to remove, and kind of, spend a lot of time trying to remove those and cleaning those. And to help with that is we have a product called our neem drain treatment. You may ask, what is neem? Neem is neem oil. It is a naturally occurring substance that actually the fruit flies hate. It's a deterrent from the fruit flies. So that's why we use neem oil in addition to the probiotics. And the probiotics that are the bacteria used will prevent the sugar snakes. They'll control the odors and unclog the lines. And what they're going to do is eliminate the fruit fly's food source. So other than the neem oil, it's going to distract, or that they don't like. It also will take care of their food source. So the fruit flies won't be around anymore. So doing it a couple of ways, and that really helps on a weekly, and it's used on a weekly basis. Basically, they're very small pucks, and they're spread about 10 to 12 inches apart to take care of the sugar snakes right in that beverage tower, right in that beverage tray. And we have another question here. See how, guys, you listened. How does the use of the drain treatment neem mitigate the fruit flies? Does it drown the flies, eliminate their food source, chemically break it down, or poison the flies? All right. You guys listen really well. 92% of you said eliminate the food source. It'd be kind of cool if it poisoned the flies, but that's not the case. It'd be a little dangerous at that point. So yeah, so it eliminates their food source. So the flies are no longer present. Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is dumpsters and trash chutes. So if there was ever a place for malodors, it's in a dumpster, right? Who knows what they're throwing in there, and constant source of odors. So definitely a place that would be prime for probiotics. So right now, there's a lot of different options for dumpsters to try to for dumpster deodorants. Basically, these are just heavily fragranced products that are thrown in there to cover up the odors. With the probiotic, which our new dumpster treatment product, it removes the source of the malodors. So it takes care of that organic material that's in that dumpster to to remove the fats, oils, and greases or other materials that are the source of the malodors. It's best to use this after the dumpster is empty. It is a foaming product, so you put it on with a foam gun that we have available to provide extra contact time, extra cling time, so it can really take care of the odors and continue to work as long as there is a food source present, just like the rest of these. Okay, next thing we're going to talk about is garbage disposals. Garbage disposals, and we all have them. Sometimes you go into a kitchen and all of a sudden you just get a terrible odor coming from the kitchen, and sometimes sometimes someone forgot to turn that garbage disposal on, and can really lead to problems. So overall, if you've ever worked on a garbage disposal, or there's a whole bunch of little blades in there. It's not the easiest thing to work. You can't really get your hand down there, so a lot of times, so really hard to clean. Another problem is that rubber gasket. That gasket, if it's not changed on a regular basis or removed, it can really absorb food odors. So look, we tried to find a method in which we could clean the garbage disposal without having to do our normal, cleaning and abrasion type of operation. And so we developed this garbage disposal cleaner, and it's a powder, and you put it down. There's a video on our website. You can go and kind of look at this. It's pretty cool. You just put it down the disposal. You turn on the water, you shut off the water, and it foams up. So the foam comes up through the garbage disposal, contacting all those little areas in the garbage disposal and the rubber gasket. And so it really does a good job. It deodorizes, has a nice fragrance, and takes care of any type of odors by, again, taking care of the food source. All right, and the last thing we're going to talk about before we see if we have any questions is our resources. So I mentioned that solutions page, www.betco.com/solutions, probiotic solutions. You can get that right from our menu bar on the top. You're going to find information. You're going to find different application areas, just like we talked about in this presentation. There's 3 separate training classes, e-learning classes, to help you better understand probiotics. There's one specific to this, kitchens and food service, and there's also selling probiotics, which kind of is a little different way to sell than your standard chemical sale. So a little different, and some things to kind of focus on, and some things to make sure that you to overcome objections and all different kinds of matter as far as helping sell the program. You can learn about deeper into the science. You can see some of the studies that we've done, calculators, glossary of terms, so you can talk like an expert and probiotic expert, and FAQs. So lots of information there, and we continue to add to it. So always go there, kind of check it out. We're going to constantly put new material as we continue to develop this and create more resources. Do we have any questions, Jeff?
Well, how about before we go to the questions, why don't we go to the Betco website? We'll show you. What I did was click on the link at the bottom of the presentation that took me to the Betco website. We have substantial resources under EnviroZyme Probiotic Solutions. We have a number of different videos. This is where the calculator is. It explains what probiotics are, why Betco is a leader in probiotic cleaning. And as you go through, there's some significant information here to help you sell. And I think from what you learned today from Barry, that all of you would agree, there is substantial opportunity for probiotic sales in kitchens, food prep areas. Matter of fact, all food service areas, there are significant opportunities. And since it is kind of a niche product out there, it's not a race to zero on the margin, that you can make some margin on this. What I really like on our website here is the applications and products. So if you want to click on drains, floors, it's going to take you to the appropriate product. You can click on that and get the PDF, get the spec sheet, get the material safety data sheet as well. We talked about last month about Push now being available in 3 great fragrances. We can talk about professional training. And here's, if you want to explore Betco U, there are 3 phenomenal modules that Barry and the team put together in the e-learning courses, which I'll show you here real quick. That gives you some great information, additional information from what you've seen last month and this month. So introduction to probiotic solutions for food service, and probiotic how to sell, which brings me to our next one will be next month, which will be how to sell. I also want to put a plug in for our Betco U classes here at Betco. We've got 30 people coming in next month for our new DSR rep school. But in April 3rd through the 6th, we've got a class that's specifically built for the science behind probiotic cleaning. So if you want to become that subject matter expert and be able to go out to your end customers and provide solutions at a greater level, I would highly suggest that you come to the class in April. And we do have floor care in March, powered equipment in May, laundry wash service technician school in June, general disinfectants and cleaning in July, and then we start all over again. So we've got a lot of training classes. Get with your Betco representative and figure out how you can get to the classes here. So with that, we've got about a dozen questions. We can see, so some of them are regarding when you couldn't see when we went to the website before. What will dissolve? We have a question here, Mr. Professor Barry. What will dissolve hair in a shower drain?
Okay, so shower. So usually in that case, this isn't necessarily a great area. Now, that's a great question, because what you have to understand when we talk about drains is these are treatment products. They're maintenance products. So they're not going to be, they're not drain openers, they're maintainers. So really, hair in a shower drain, that is going to be more of your standard chemical treatment, your high caustics or bleach type products. So these would be your Dranos, your liquid plumbers, from a retail standpoint, and that's what you're looking for, more of the conventional treatment.
Now, once you get that pipe open and you get that hair clog out, what the probiotics will do will keep the pipes clean, because a lot of times clogs are developed because there's buildup on the side of the pipes. So that way, they snag on those buildups and stuff, and they start getting a buildup. If you can keep your pipes clean with a regular use of a probiotic solution, that you will be able to flush that hair down the drain and it won't even get caught. So good question there. Another question. Does an ATP meter show cleanliness on surface after probiotic treated surfaces?
That's an excellent question. So ATP meter measures organic material, and these bacteria being organic would actually show on the ATP meter. So it would not be a great idea to use ATP when using probiotics, because it's going to artificially show a high organic load, which really the surface may be clean, but because you used probiotics, it is actually going to probably spike the ATP meter.
And that's one of the misconceptions out there about ATP meters, is that it's measuring the level of bacteria on a surface. And truly, it's not. It's measuring soil, as Barry just said, or organic soils. So good question. Next question we have: would the garbage disposal bags work in the dishwashers and clothes washers too?
I would not recommend it. It's specific for the way it was developed for the garbage disposal. I'm not sure. You would probably have to put in a lot of bags in order for a dishwasher and a clothes washer, and because they're constantly going, you might actually foam over the dishwasher and the laundry. So I would not recommend it. It's a very specific type of application for the disposal.
And it's very high foaming. So yes. I have heard of some success using one of our push fragrances in both a dishwasher and or a clothes washer. I'm not aware of what dilution rate, but I have been told that it does refresh and remove some of the soils and buildup that's in both of those. Next question, will this presentation be available to be sent to us? Yes, we can send you the presentation. We can send you the presentation if you signed up with a valid email when you signed up for this. We can send you one, or if you want to send an email to me, J. Iverson, Iverson, at Betco.com. J. Iverson at Betco.com. We'll make sure that you get a copy of this recording or the PowerPoint. Next one. Can it be used even if there's still dump on it? Yeah. Don't know. I don't know if there's still soil on it. Obviously, the probiotics can only consume so much soil. So just like with disinfecting and other things, that there's a certain amount of pre-cleaning and things that need to be done if you want it efficacious quicker. I think the probiotics would eventually work through all kinds of fats, oils, and greases. But, you may have to do a restorative cleaning first. Is all of this stuff safe for human consumption if a small amount is accidentally ingested? Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. So the answer is yes. And to further that, these bacteria are all sensitive to common antibiotics like penicillin. So let's say someone accidentally ingested a lot of material. Who knows? They thought it was their soda drink and they drank the bottle instead. If all they would have to do is, take a normal treatment of antibiotics. So, and we make sure that with all the bacteria, that we use and grow. So yes.
We're running a little bit past, but you got some good questions here. Somebody's at, is there a study to back the 65% on lost work days?
There is. I'm not sure what that was used for. I can do that. I pulled that from some information that we've used in the past.
We'll grab that and put that on the where we got that information. So that's a good question. The other next question I had that was posed is: do you have testing on surface disinfection on mold, mycotoxins, and pathogenic bacteria?
Well, it's not going to be related to the probiotics in this case. These are not EPA registered disinfectants. We do have testing with our disinfectant products, our quats, our citric acid based products, but that's a different deal. So
now Barry is being his professor and being politically correct here. There are a lot of international studies being done overseas that are using these probiotics in replacement of disinfectants. And again, it's in study phase, white paper phase, and they're finding that the probiotics are as or more effective, again, as efficacious as disinfectants against bacteria and viruses on surfaces. So I would suggest in the future, there may be some claims that could be made. At this time, obviously we can't. So we have two more questions. Is it environmentally friendly?
Absolutely, and the fact that what we talked about in the previous webinar, it's really zero waste. So the end product of this bacteria, as they digest the fats, oils, and greases, are carbon dioxide and water. So it's basically a zero waste type of proposition.
All right. Well, thank you for your questions. Thank you for your participation. And if you got more questions, reach out to your Betco representative or to Barry or myself. The next installment in the Betco EnviroZyme Probiotic Training Series will be February 17th, so put this on your calendar, and we'll focus on selling Betco's EnviroZyme Probiotic Solution. So help you learn how to sell and how to talk the language in that. So stay tuned for that announcement, get signed up, and if you have more questions, like I said, please get with your Betco representative, and we thank you. Again, everybody have a great Friday and a great weekend.